This is Boyd.
And this is Levi.
We're the Cruise Bros.
All right, welcome back to another cruise adventure with Levi and Boyd. We're the Cruise Bros. And today we're going to talk about the top 10 things you shouldn't do when you book a cruise. But before we get started, I'm going to let Boyd tell you about this.
Yes, we also have a travel agency. We want you to visit our website, thecruisebros.com. And we also have an email address, travel@thecruisebros.com. Just visit our site, email us if you want to book a cruise, and we'll be there. Also, we'll have some essentials for cruises that you must need for your cruise in our comments. So look at there, go to the links and check them out.
That's right. All right, so I think today we're going to start off with number one. Room selection. Room selection is now important to me. Seeing as how on my last cruise, I did not do any studying. That is my fault. I should have studied the ship. I should have looked it up. I should have asked questions. I didn't. I booked a group of friends, including myself and my wife, on this cruise, on the Liberty, right below the restaurant.
Right.
And that right there was noise. Now, not to complain about the cruise line by any means. We all know that we are Carnival cruisers. We love cruising with Carnival. But you got to do your history, because if you're a light sleeper, you're going to be awake all night. Because why? These employees of this place have to work.
Right.
Yep. So if they don't do their job, you don't get to eat the next day, especially in that buffet line. And our rooms were right below it. So to me, that's an important thing. You need to really pay attention to when you're booking a cruise as to where you book your room at too. You have that option. Now, on some of them, you don't, right?
Well, sometimes if you book too late, they'll only book assign your room when you book, and you can get a cheaper cruise by selecting assign your room, but you don't know where you're going to get.
Right.
And there's one thing with Levi too, that they have late night snacks in the buffet area, buffet restaurant. And I mean, if you want to go to sleep at 12 o'clock, other people are up there bouncing around eating.
That's right.
So you may hear that, and then you may not sleep. There's one other thing too. It doesn't bother me because I've stayed near the elevator several times, but I hear a lot of people say, well, they hear noise from the elevator. I don't know, maybe it's my selective hearing, but I don't hear no elevators or no traffic. But a lot of people, if you feel like you're a light sleeper, just book far away from the elevator as you can, in the middle of the ship, in the hallway. Have to walk a little further when you get off the elevator, but you're in the middle where you don't get much traffic at all.
That's right. That's right. So we've covered the number one thing, at least in ours, and we'll let you guys decide this top 10 list if this is yours, and maybe you can add to it. That'd be great. Number two, what I think we're going to talk about now on this one is make sure you have enough money on the card that you have chosen for your sailing sign. That is important.
Right. And I got going into that, I did my debit card when I first cruised. Now I do my credit card. And I've just learned something recent. You can do a cash account.
Yep.
Now your debit card, they're gonna hit you for maybe, I don't know, $100, $200 when you board the ship, and they're gonna hold that money. So you want to make sure you have the money there on your debit card. Or, I mean, I don't know what happens. I've never heard of somebody doing that, but I mean, they can make it where you can't get off the ship until you pay.
Right.
So. And in your credit card, most of the time people's got a higher limit and whatnot. All right, credit card here. I mean, most people's got limits on the higher limit on their credit card, so it's not a big deal. I mean, you may be careful, because if you buy a lot of stuff on there, you may get off the ship and look at your credit card bill and be like, uh-oh.
That's right.
And the thing, the cash account that I was talking about, I just learned about it. You can, when you check in, you can select cash account. When you get on the ship, you had to visit a kiosk, and what you do, you put when you get your selling sign card after your room, you'll go in, punch information in, about you. I think it asks maybe for date of birth and stuff, but and you can put cash on your account. Like, say, you can just put a couple $100 in, and the thing with the cash account, they will not let you go past how much cash you have in there. So, or they'll tell you you'll have to go put more cash in. So if people don't have a card, they don't, or the credit card or debit card, that's what you can do. And if you feel like that's a safer way to do it, which some people do, because you don't have no card on file,
Right.
you don't have to worry about it. So that is the three things there that you can use, and you really need, like we said, number two, make sure you have enough money there.
Yep. You always want to make sure you have that money.
Right. Or use the cash account and you don't have to worry about it.
And that's a good option. Cash account sounds like it might be a good option. Might even have to try it next time we go on a cruise just to see how this works.
Yep.
You know, got to be able to tell you guys about it, right? All right. So number 3, very important right here.
Oh, yeah.
Driving or flying, either way, to go to the cruise. To me, a common mistake is when people decide to do that in the same day. I have enough time. The flight says blah, blah, blah. This says that. What if? Boyd's a huge planner.
Yeah,
a huge
definitely.
planner. And I think that might be an anxiety monster for some people to try to plan this all in the same day and get to a port and things because, again, what if? Plane issues, delays. What if you can't catch an Uber or a cab once you get there?
Right.
Things like that. We always like to plan it ahead of time, drive down the day before. Now, this is just us, and we budget this in, you know. But we drive down, get us a hotel, and then the next day get up a little early and make sure that we drive down there, which also entails us having to purchase the parking package. But those are available at all ports, as far as I know. So I think that's very important. You got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think we've never had this problem, but I have a good friend who had a flight on the same day, and they were going to an Alaskan cruise. They were flying from Tennessee out to Seattle, and their flight got canceled. Guess what? No cruise. And guess what? No insurance. They got no money back. So, you know, that is terrible, but it does happen. It does happen, guys. And again, the traveling the day before is the way to go. I know you got a hotel bill, but hey, a hotel bill, $200 a night, maybe. Yep. Is it worth paying that, or is it worth losing $2,000 for the whole cruise?
That's right.
For 2 people.
Yep, I agree 100%.
And also, you're talking about me booking or me doing the travel stuff and getting stuff together. That's why you need to contact us and visit the cruisebros.com, because I can get you traveled. I can set it all up for you if you want me to.
Sure can.
Get you every detail and set up a plan for you to go on a cruise.
Start to finish, all the way back to the house. Yeah. So, all right. So number 4, I'm going to name what this is, and then I'm going to let Boyd elaborate on this. So packing everything in your checked bags. We sat and talked for a while on this, and I think they really need to hear what you had to say about that. How important is this?
That is very important, because with me, I have medication that I have to take on. Now, if you have anything essential personal to you, always have a carry-on luggage or backpack and put it in your bag, and do not check it. Now, most of your stuff you can check, it'll be okay. I've never personally had a problem getting my luggage. Sometimes it has been a little later in the afternoon, but if you pack something in your personal or your check bag, and if your baggage got lost, then you're really messed up. And I've got something else on that. And again, a backpack is pretty simple. If you don't want nothing big, you can carry it on your back, on your shoulder, and it's a whole lot better. What I did on my last cruise is I left a piece of luggage at the embarkment. I don't know how I did it, but I guess I just lost it. We had a group, about 7 or so, and somebody else had the same color of luggage, my little luggage. So I left it, but guess what? Carnival called me like 2 days after that, because I didn't even notice it. And me and my wife didn't notice it, but Carnival called me and said they had my luggage. They first said, "Are you missing luggage?" And I said, and I thought about it. I was like, "No." And then we got to looking, and luggage, I didn't have it. So I did have to pay $35 for it to ship, which is fine. But they got it back to me. Nothing wrong with the luggage or anything. So that is a good thing. But the bad thing is, if you had anything in there you needed, you wasn't going to get it for a few weeks.
That's right. It's very important, though. I mean, people have medical conditions and things that they need, and if they've never been on a cruise before and just aren't thinking because they've been told no, it always makes it to the room, this and that. What if though? What if again? What ifs are big, man, when it comes to going on a cruise because once that boat pulls out, what if don't matter anymore.
That's right.
So, but all right, so we're going to move on to number 5 here. Not checking in online early. That's important. We played this game before a little bit. So when we went on our last cruise, we were following directions. Somebody gave me the proper directions. I, the guy that's leading the pack, did not follow the directions. So everybody in our group actually got to book their stuff online early and got everything checked to where we could get in there, except myself and my wife. And we ended up with a later entry or embarkation than everybody else. So that's super important. That and there's plenty of videos out there, and we could create a video as well one day on what to do, because it is a long process if you've never booked a cruise as to how to go online and do that. It's quite a process. So
yeah, and I will say this, and I know I keep saying it, but as a Carnival travel agent, I can check in for you.
Yes, sir.
When I book your cruise, I can do everything for you, and I can check you in, give you a time, and all you have to do is print your luggage tags, print your boarding pass, and you'll be on your way. So just remember, visit thecruisebros.com and I can hook you up.
That's right. All right. So number 6, proper documents. I've mentioned this in prior videos. Proper documentation is important. It's not only important to get on the boat, but it's important when you get off the boat. Anything can happen. Again, what are we going to say today? I guess today's Levi's big word of the day is going to be what if. But the what if game falls into making mistakes on a cruise. Boyd, tell them about some of the things that they really just have to have. It's no questions asked.
Well, no questions asked. You have to have your passport or birth certificate and ID.
That's right.
With your passport, because I've had a passport the last, 3 or 4 cruises, and I've been on 6. So you just have to show your passport. It's your ID and your documents. Like, it wraps your birth certificate and ID in one, and that's all they have to look at, and that's it. So, and I say you need to get your gold star on your ID.
Yep.
That will help you out.
For those of you who don't know, they call that the real ID.
Right, the real ID. Yep. And it puts the gold star on there, and it's somewhat, it's not a passport, but it helps.
Right.
Helps you travel.
And I'll tell you what, you would be surprised at how many people don't want to do that. I was at the DMV today at our local court annex registering a boat, not a cruise, but a boat. And a gentleman was there getting his driver's license, and he refused to get it. And the lady said, well, it doesn't matter today or next time, but you're going to have to do it. So at some point, folks, everybody that wants to travel in the United States is going to have that real ID.
Right.
So some things you just have to swallow a little bit of pride on, and you're going to have it done. You don't want to go without ID. You can't go anywhere without it. So I think we've covered the basics on that. To go a little more in depth, though, I've mentioned this in prior videos. I really think it's super important for the proper documentation when you're off the boat. You know, you're in foreign countries, and a lot of people forget that because they feel like they're there with that cruise. So you're still an American, but you're not. You're a visitor in their country. And not only if something bad happens as far as getting in trouble, because Lord forbid, but what if something medically happens to you? Right. What if you're on a taxi cab or in a taxi cab and it flips over and you're, hospitalized? That boat has to leave.
I've never thought of that.
Listen, it's an idea in my head because, again, the what ifs are big time. when you're traveling. Now, once you get a little bit more experience, these things they'll be second nature to you to remember that. And believe me, before we go, we constantly prep. We make it sound like it's really easy, and we're trying to make it easy for you. But when you go, even as a multiple time cruiser, it's important, especially if you're going with a group or like Boyd and I are going in May in a cruise. I think it's super important that you prep before you go, and then we will get together and we'll go over things, or we'll go over things on the phone with each other. Hey, you got this, you got that, just to double check each other, because we don't want anything bad to happen. So same for you. We don't want anything bad to happen to our viewers at all. So,
and like you said, coming in May, we're going on the cruise, and basically we'll be bringing you back some good content from the cruise.
That's right. We're going to Celebration Key, and we're going down to the Bahamas. So that's going to be a new side for me. I've never been on there, so on that side of the country.
Crystal clear water, buddy.
Yeah. All right, number 7, folks. We're getting that list knocked out. Number 7, ignoring the daily schedule. That's an important thing to Boyd. I'm just going to leave this one in his hands.
Oh yeah, ignoring the daily schedule. Look, they give you a daily schedule every day. It's in your little mailbox on Carnival. It's in your little mailbox outside, or the steward sometimes puts it in there the day before. And you also have it on the app. I think most cruise lines do. I've only sailed Carnival, so that's what I know, but I'm sure they're about the same. But, when you're getting off a ship, it has all the times. You can look at every day on the app on your phone. It has the times that you can get off the ship, on the ship, and all the events. Say you wanted to go to one of the shows, right? If you just try to guess and don't look at the times, then you're not going to know. You know, and it's just like places to eat. It also has the times that they're open. They're the buffet and everything's not open all the time. They have hours, and just that's the way to go.
Being a Carnival cruiser and using the app, which if you're not using the app, you really need to. But if you're using the app every single day that you go through there, or first day, like I like to do, I like to scan through it, see whatever what shows are going on all week long. Because, like I said in previous videos, there's R-rated shows. There's PG-13 shows. It depends on who you are, who you have in your group with you. But on your app, you can actually go in there and pin it. So each time, and you get a reminder daily. Each time the time rolls through, it dings you ahead of time and lets you know, hey, this is coming up.
Alert.
Yep. So I think that's important too. I was a fly by the seat of my pants guy. And after going on the cruise with Boyd and his wife, it really made sense to me why they give you that. So I think that's super important to you, especially as a first-time cruiser. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right. So number 8 on the list.
Yes, sir.
Not booking excursions early. How important is it, Boyd? Let's reverse that. How important is it to book your excursions early?
Right. It's important because I'll tell you, I've been to Paradise Beach at Cozumel.
Yes.
Twice. I've never had a problem. I've booked months in advance, right? I've heard people talk about it, and I've seen sometimes when I go in and book, if I see within the month of a cruise, days are sold out.
Yep.
Now, in the wintertime, not as much, but look, if you want to go to Cozumel, or if you want to go to Paradise Beach or any other resorts, there's other resorts that I haven't been to that I've heard about and looked at. But book the excursion early. Yep. They'll be sold out, and then you will not get anywhere. You'll have to do something else. Same as Carnival. I've seen some of the Carnival excursions sell out.
Yep.
Some people like swim with the dolphins, and some people like going and viewing historic stuff, But again, if you want to do something and you wait too late, you won't get to do it.
I think to add to what you're saying though is a lot of your touristy stuff you can get, because they have round the clock buses and things like that coming.
Right.
But if you have a specific resort or something you want to go to and you have a planned amount of time, you really have to get in there and research it, because like what he's saying, the first time we went, it was in August of 23. It was packed. We were kind of one of the first ones in there, but he got it for us ahead of time. But once we got in there, that place got busy quick, and they got
Oh
big
yeah.
signs in there that if they're packed or sold to capacity, they will not allow anybody. You'll just have to wait outside until somebody comes, and that's usually not the case. Most people that pay to go in there, it's a good amount of money, so they're not just leaving early. They're not gonna. It's not like a tour there. You're beach access, food, drinks, pool, things like that. So
Right.
those things are important. But in other islands, it's important as well. So
And just to say about Paradise Beach, because we've been, it's all included. You when you pay for the fee, you get all the drinks and food you want.
that's
So
right.
you can order all the coconut shrimp. We had a bunch of orders when we went back in
Tacos.
February. We had tacos and coconut shrimp. Man, they're good.
It is. It is. Now we're going to get ourselves starving here. So, All right. So, number 9 here. When you're at port, it is very important to us not to make the mistake of getting the wrong transportation.
Right.
Boyd, tell them about this.
Look, it's going back off of number 8 as far as excursions. When you book excursions, you want to make sure when you travel outside of the port that you're safe. Because it can be pretty bad in Mexico. There's been things going on where things have been going down in Mexico with the cartel, and people are worried. If you're going to go, be safe. There's a few things here. When you're booking with Carnival, uh, they lead you around. They get you safe transportation. But like we said, when you book Paradise Beach, or you book other resorts, you got to be careful. They do have public transportation out there. Now, the ones we see, and he can tell you about it, where his last cruise is the private transportation.
That's right.
So you can go ahead and leave out. Tell them about the Cayman Islands.
So, when we were in Cayman Islands, when you obviously you have to ferry from the boat over to the port. There's not a direct dock there. And it's kind of like a caged compound when you get
Right.
onto that. When you go outside of those gates, though, you're now on their, in their country.
Right.
And there's markings on transportation, but they all say transportation. You have to ask kind of locally to some of the deputies that are there. That's what we did, and they pointed us in the right direction. But there are other people there that have private taxiing. One of the things that I think that are, you'll get swayed by is for one price we'll take you here, here, and here, and that sounds fine and well. But what if the deception is right there at the gate? Versus public transportation is a constant round the clock. You get on this color bus, and as far as they're marked by signs or colors, and you get off and on that color the entire time, and they bring you back to the port when you say that's where I want to go. And it's not one price when you do that, so it varies. And country to country, I'm sure it's going to be different. That was one of our experiences when we were in the Bahamas. Or not the Bahamas. I'm sorry. When we were in Mahogany Bay, Jamaica, we really struck gold there. And in a further video, one of these days, I'm going to introduce you guys to my friend Ricardo, who was our taxi driver. It was a godsend that he was sent to us. And so he has his own type of business there. He's also a cab driver. There's no deception in some of these places. They're all the same company, things like that. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to these things when you get off that boat and step foot into this foreign countries.
Oh yeah, you definitely do.
All right, so number 10 and the last one, pay attention to food allergens. Those are important things. Don't make the mistake of just thinking you can eat something anywhere. I think on the cruise ship itself, you can pay close attention to that.
Right.
Where I fear for some people is when they get off that boat and they go to one of these excursions, or they go to a non cruise line excursion. You don't know what's been put in the food. I've talked before about water and ice and things like that, and drinks, but we tend to slip and forget. Now, if you're a person with food allergens, I'm sure you're paying attention. But if you've never had an allergen to something and all of a sudden develop one, or if you've had a slight bit of one once before, or you thought this taco would be okay to eat, this and that, I just think those are important things to pay attention to.
Right. There's a few more things I've got. When you travel off the ship, you never know what might happen. Like if you get stung by something. If you're allergic, you really need to travel with your EpiPen.
Yeah.
Because if not, you may get yourself in trouble.
Right.
And there's also, Carnival don't take your normal health insurance. Like, if you have an allergy to something on the ship and there's something wrong and they have to treat you somehow or give you anything, it's going to cost you.
That's right.
Travel insurance, I've never had it, honestly, but I've been reading so much about it. People going, getting hurt, or having even if they give you Tylenol, people talk about how much it costs. So travel insurance, I think, sometimes is the way to go if you are worried about that happening.
Some type of issue. Yep. Well, all right, folks. I believe that's the 10 mistakes that I would want to avoid when going on a cruise, booking a cruise, or actually already on the cruise.
Yep.
I think those are 10 things. I'm going to lead it over to Boyd, and he's going to remind you once again about our subscriptions. And if you have questions or concerns where you need to go, or if you're ready to book that cruise with the Cruise Bros, Boyd can tell you every bit of where you got to go.
All right, now look, I'll have links in the description there for you to get your Essential Cruise items. Just take a look, click the link, see if that's good for you, and buy so you have fun on your next cruise. And have fun on your next cruise. We can also book your cruise. Visit thecruisebros.com or email travel@thecruisebros.com and we'll hook you up.
That's right. And hey, don't forget, we have a Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Go to our Facebook page and, like our Facebook page because we have a lot of daily information coming out on that.
That's right.
Even YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're bringing content all the time. We put some YouTube shorts out there, you get you to watch them. And, we bring content weekly. So subscribe to our channel and continue to allow us to bring the information to you.
All right, folks. This will be the end of our show for the day. And always remember, life's better at sea.
We'll see you on the next adventure.